from that dirt, dirt, dirt. I'm all about that dirt, dirt, dirt. I'm throwing dirt, dirt, dirt. I miss that dirt, dirt, dirt. Gotta get back to I'm a dirt trackaholic. Call it what you call it. Saturday night, I am so Kenny Wallace on that dirt, dirt, dirt. I miss that dirt, dirt, dirt. Gotta get back to it. I've been the Kenny Wallace of the rap game ever since I hit him with that dirt track thing. Now nationwide, everybody knows my name. They're like, mama, that's Kenny Montgomery. He sings that song we like. Yeah, boy, that's me. Roll out the trailer, I'm flossing. Them Hoosier tires glossing. Them cold kind we're tossing. They know I came to wreck it, yet I rarely bring out a caution. I hit the high side, boy, I park it for Brian Clausen.
Welcome to Throttled Up the Podcast. Often imitated, never duplicated. Your weekly home for the best in motorsports coverage.
Even your grandpa talking about, man, that boy too cold. We don't sit on 24s, we don't ride on spinners. I'm posted up on them 15s with platinum dirt defenders. Got kids up in my window like, hey Mo, are you gonna win?
Welcome back to Throttled Up the Podcast, and unfortunately, in studio all by myself tonight. Something I've not had before. We will be joined here shortly by late model driver Bobby Pierce. Also the youngest man to ever win the World 100. But Matt, my normal co-host and friend, got held up at work, unfortunately, and was not able to make it. So here I am all by myself. Want to start out here, first of all, that we're getting some racing tonight all the way in South Dakota. Some live racing coming back. No fans in the stands. But at least seeing some racing, a modified show. I know I saw that Ricky Thornton Jr. is out there, Kenny Wallace, Kenny Schrader. So some pretty big names headed out there to South Dakota to run that race. Also, just to kind of give everybody a heads up, if you haven't went and looked yet, go check out www.thirstygoatent.com. You can find articles there. You can find videos. You can find all the Thirsty Goat brands, which includes Throttled Up the Podcast. You'll also find a lot of great merchandise that you can go check out. But definitely check out the articles that are being written, usually coming out a couple every week. This week, I know that Ryan Bowling and I, for our On the Rocks article, are going to be discussing, what does it look like for us to get back racing? And obviously neither one of us are a track promoter, but what's it going to take? How do we get back to as much normalcy as we can for those of us here in this dirt track community? And what's that look like? And, obviously South Dakota's racing tonight, but there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. And how do you pay purses as a promoter without fans in the stands? So be on the lookout for that. I'm also working on an article myself, on the Twin Cities Points Fund from 2019. There's been a lot of chatter about that on Facebook, and I'm going to interview some drivers. I have reached out to Tim Wagner and Tim Keithley both, and trying to get to the bottom of what's going on there with the 2019 Twin Cities Points Fund. So be on the lookout for that. Again, www.thirstygoatent.com. So really, the big racing news around the world is that we're starting to see some things open back up. I know that I'm very excited that Ryan and I on Saturday will be headed down to Strawberry Plains, Tennessee for the Blue-Gray Series, Southeast Series go-kart race. Be shooting that, and you can find that on Dirt to Media. You can get live coverage of it. So very excited to at least be back around some semblance of racing. It's been way too long. I know how serious this virus is, but definitely ready to get back to the track and be able to get back to some type of normalcy for all of us. It's been a long quarantine for sure. So before I bring in Bobby Pierce, I just again want to remind you Check out all the things that are going on. If you're looking for some great throttled up merchandise, 2 great T-shirts. You can get the Skull and Flags T-shirt there for, I believe, $12. $2 extra for sizes 2XL and up. And then the Often Imitated, Never Duplicated gray T-shirt on both front and back. You can pick up there on thirstygoatent.com at the store for, I believe, $15 for that one. And don't forget the I Need Dirt stickers. Those are going like crazy. I'm amazed. $3 a piece for the I Need Dirt sticker. And let me see here. I got one right here. I think we're all feeling this right now. $3. And, you know, I was going to charge you shipping, I'll be honest with everybody. And then the brains behind the Thirsty Goat operation, Ryan Bowling, texted me and said, dude, give them free shipping, man. So make sure when you check out on any orders right now throughout the month of May. So we'll end that on June, April, and May. Free shipping. So it comes right to your door with no extra cost to you. Pick up some stickers, some great things that are going on there. You can go and not only pick up the I Need Dirt, you can pick up a Thirsty Goat Entertainment logo. You can also pick up the throttled up Flags and Skull decal. Those are $5 a piece. I Need Dirt, $3 a piece. And then obviously T-shirts and more merchandise will be added weekly. So go check that out. But before I give Bobby Pierce a call here, let's go check out our sponsors and see, make sure that you're supporting those guys as well. They're a huge help to us here at Throttled Up.
Don't let your Saturday night go without the excitement and live action at Southern Indiana's premier dirt track, Brownstown Speedway. Schaefer Photo and Custom Tee is the place for any race fan to get racing memorabilia. Mark and Jamie Schaefer will work to make whatever custom photo product you would like. From prints, keychains, magnets, buttons, and much more, stop by the Schaefer Photo and Custom Tee booth and let Bronze Bobby know what they can do for you.
OCC Seamless Gutters is the only place to turn for new 6-inch seamless gutters, gutter repair, leaf guard systems, and gutter cleanouts. I mean it. Go outside right now, and if your gutters have trees growing out of them, call OCC. Let me give you a little hint. Schedule them for a time your wife is gone and take all the credit. OCC is fully insured and offers free estimates. Call them today at 812-592-7899 or visit their Facebook page at OCC Seamless Gutters. Legacy Paint and Body is a family-owned auto body paint and repair shop located in Columbus, Indiana, specializing in collision repairs, insurance claims for collision work, restorations, rust repair, headlight restoration, detailing, and more. If you have any questions about the quality of work they do, check out their Facebook page. Contact them today at 812-799-1344 for a free estimate and tell them your friends at Throttled Up sent you. Race fans, In the Fast Lane Productions has rebranded itself as Dirt to Media. This is a huge win for us as race fans as they will be expanding their coverage to 3 local racetracks. For a mere $9.99 a month, you can choose between race action from Thunder Valley, Twin Cities Raceway Park, or Brownstown Speedway. But really, who can choose? So for only $13.99 per month, upgrade to the VIP membership and receive video from all 3 tracks. The only question I have left for you is, what are you doing? Get over to dirttomedia.tv and sign up today.
Gilpin Electric and Generator Services is a customer-first company that takes care of all your electric and generator needs. They are your go-to dealer, installer, and generator service company. Don't be stuck without power during severe weather this year. Contact Gilpin Electric and Generator Services on Facebook or call them at 812-953-1261.
Hey, Matt, what would you say is one of your most prized possessions?
Oh, it has to be my racing t-shirts.
And you've got an impressive collection. But I heard about a new place. P3RacingShirts.com is the one and only place offering genuine custom racing shirts with no minimum quantities. Their shirts are printed in full color using the latest technology in direct-to-garment printing. They have custom designs for several different car types and specialize in our favorite, dirt track racing.
That has to be great for the local driver. You don't have to buy all those up front.
Absolutely, and they don't have to hold all that inventory at home.
What did you say that was again?
P3RacingShirts.com.
Let's check them out.
We've all heard horror stories about insurance companies and insurance agents. Let me tell you about my family's agent, Tommy Taylor. Tommy is an agent at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and is a multi-line agent that can keep all your insurance in one place. Why is a dedicated agent so important? When you have the unexpected occur, you'd much rather know the person on the other end of the phone. Contact info for Tommy, 812-372-4483 at extension 2447, or look him up on Facebook at Tommy Taylor, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Don't be another horror story. Stop knocking on wood and relying on a 1-800 number. Trust Tommy Taylor today. P3 Graphics is one of Indiana's premier suppliers for motorsports wraps and apparel. P3 Graphics offers great pricing along with some of the best customer service in the industry. Give them a try on your next project and you won't be sorry. You can contact them via email, phone, or on Facebook on the P3 Graphics page. To find out more, go to www.p3graphics.com. Again, that's www.p3graphics.com.
Hey, give Brad at Brad Irwin Customs a call for bodies, interiors, fab work, setup, and consulting. With Brad Irwin Customs, you can stick them deeper. Call him today at 812-216-3900.
Does your yard have a dead or dying tree threatening your house or property? Do you have an unsightly stump you're tired of mowing around? Have trees that need trimmed up against the house? If you answered yes to any of these questions, call our good friends at Kane's Tree Service. They're fully insured and offer free estimates. Call Kane's Tree Service today at 812-344-5917. Tree trimming, tree removal, stump removal. Call our friends at Kane's Tree Service today at 812-344-5917.
And again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors there. I can't say how much I appreciate them. Last thing here before we bring in Bobby Pierce, any of those of you out there that iRace, do iRacing, I've recently jumped into the iRacing world. I'm awful. I'm still a rookie. Just awful. But if you're on there, search Dustin Roller, find me, and add me so that maybe we can race against each other. So, all right, guys, when I return, we'll have Bobby Pierce again, one of the greatest Jackson 100 finishes of all time. So let's reach out to Bobby and see how things. Welcome back to Throttled Up the Podcast, and I am lucky and happy to be joined today by Bobby Pierce, late model driver out of Oakwood, Illinois. Bobby, you and Dad have really put Oakwood on the map, man. There aren't many other things that come out of Oakwood.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. There's a sign as you come into Oakwood that says youngest World 100 winner, Bobby Pierce, and there's a girl I know that I went to school with, actually. She's on that sign too for being like Miss Illinois. And I don't know. Besides that, it's just small town. There's not a whole lot of people here. And I know there's a baseball player like Darren Fletcher is his name, and he was in the MLB. And I guess a lot of people kind of know Oakwood for that. But yeah, just a small town. I think there's 1,600 people, so not very big.
Well, it's kind of a cool deal, man. I live down here in southern Indiana now by Brownstown, but I was born in Danville. I had family in Bismarck, grew up in Georgetown the first 10 years of my life. So I was all around Oakwood there, and actually had family that lived in Oakwood as well. So I know where you're at, brother.
Yeah, it's a lot of small towns around here, not a whole lot to do. I mean, we got Champaign that's 20 minutes away, so that's not too far away. It's a college town, and Danville is kind of down the road from where I live here, and it's just a lot of cornfields, I guess, but a lot of great dirt tracks around here. So not too far of a drive, anyways. So that's always good.
Absolutely, and Bobby, I want to ask you this because I love asking guys. We talked to Billy Moyer Jr. A few weeks ago. We've talked to Hudson O'Neill. Guys who grew up and with fathers who were successful late model racers, and there's two ways that can go. It's easy to say, well, you were always going to be a driver, but sometimes when you are around that your whole life, you kind of move away from it. So, at what point did you realize, no, this is what I want to do?
Well, actually, when I was like 6, 7, 8, I started racing when I was 8, but right before that, I always told everybody I was just going to play football. I don't know, because I really liked football, and but I'm I'm kind of small to be in the NFL, even though I was like running back and I was a linebacker when I played in school. But yeah, I always told people I wasn't really going to race. I was going to help my dad, or I was going to help my sister if she wanted to race. And but I mean, I was so little, I didn't, you don't really know what you want to do. And then my dad got me a quarter midget when I was 4. I did drive a quarter midget, and I drove it around Danville's track, which is like a quarter-mile dirt track, and I was flying around there. My parents didn't know anything about the quarter midgets then because they had me in a wide open restrictor. There was no restrictor in the quarter midget, and for a 4-year-old, that's like ridiculous. And I was just on the mat. I didn't know any better. And
hey, you don't really know throttle control at 4 years old.
Yeah, no, you just go around there. Luckily, I didn't kill myself, but it kind of scared me, I think, a little bit. And then when I was 8, my dad got me a different quarter midget, and or it might have been it was that same one. And he was like, hey, how about we just go in the yard and you get in it? I think you still fit in it, or you'll fit in your sister's seat, and go out there and just play around with it. So I did, and then I really liked it. And then we went to the first race at Terre Haute, Indiana, and that's just kind of history from there. I really liked it a lot. It helped having my dad, there with me for sure. All of his success and his knowledge that, he's had over the years, just all of it put together. I probably wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for him.
And I've had a really cool opportunity here the last few weeks, Bobby, and James Essex has been working with us, and we've been remastering some old 80s and early 90s Brownstown Speedway films. And you talk about watching your dad and, Blackjack Boggs and Don O'Neill and, and Jeff Purvis and some of these guys. It's amazing looking back at how good your dad was at that time.
Yeah, I kind of have an opportunity to watch some old videos. He's always wanting to watch races, and he likes to be able to find those videos from way back in the day when he was racing. And yeah, he was a beast, back in his day. And but it's kind of funny watching those videos. The cars are so different than what they are today, and it's crazy to see the cars evolve with how they have. And not that they were like slow back then, but just
big.
I don't think those cars had no traction, so they were just sliding around, and it was just a different kind of late model.
Yeah, they just look huge to me. I mean, and I guess maybe part of that's nostalgia from being a kid and being around, and then thinking they were so big then. But when I watch the video, they look so big to me in comparison to what today's late models are.
Yeah, well, I know they could run those big tires. My dad calls them the humpers. So I don't know, they're just like something different. And the bodies, man, oof, they were something else. Like until they got to the wedge bodies and then the big sideboards, those were something else. But man, if we had that today, I don't think we'd even have to let off the gas. Just go around there wide open.
So going back to you obviously you start in the quarter midget, and then it was 2009 when you jumped in the crate late model, correct?
Yeah, 2009, and then 2010, I did crate and super late model. So 2010 was my first year in a super, and then 2011 was my first full year in just supers.
And how crazy is it? Like you said, I mean, I know you had your dad helping you and all that, but to go from that quarter midget in 2006 and within 4 or 5 years, you're racing super late models.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I remember. Like every step was like, are you sure I'm ready for this, Dad? And he'd just be like, yeah, I think you are. If anything, just go out there. And he always just said, whenever I got in something else, he was just like, go out there and just have fun. At first, just feel it out. Take it slow. And heck, like the first lap, I'd already be just on the gas. So I don't know. Thinking back to that, it was It was really cool feeling the power of like a super late model. And, it still is, every time I get in it, after, especially now, not being able to race very much, I'll probably be a little rusty and be like, whoa, this is, it feels like a drag car when you take off. But yeah, he always, another thing he always really wanted me to do was just move up quick and get to all these different racetracks because he didn't want me racing the same track every weekend and just, getting habits from one track. He wanted me to experience a lot of things. So that really helped out a lot too, just getting out and trying to go to all these different places, learn everything. And, but yeah, starting when I was 13 in super late models is kind of crazy to think now, but, you start at a local level and kind of work your way up, and now here we are. So just, I got to thank him for that for sure, because I don't think I would have had like the confidence to be able to be like, oh yeah, I'm ready for a super late model,
Yeah, and and it is. I mean, it's really set your career to where it is because a lot of and credit to your dad, a lot of people may have tried to kind of hold you back and say, let's run the crate till this age, and then we'll put you in a super. There's no way you'd be at where you are in your career without that kind of accelerated timeline.
Yeah, it's they always say start them young, and I think it's definitely true. If you can, so whatever it is, baseball, golf, that's one joke he always has actually is he says I should have done, or he should have put me in golf because it's a lot cheaper and they make more money. But here we are.
I've said that forever. I said if my kids could do anything, that's what I'd choose because you can do it till you're 70 years old. You make a ton of money. You always play.
Well, you can race till you're 70 also, but
that's very, very
you might be
true.
falling apart.
Speaking of that, it is C.J. Rayburn's birthday today, so happy birthday to C.J. Rayburn.
Oh yeah, happy birthday to C.J.
Talk about a guy that raced until the very end of it. I mean, that's just unbelievable. But
yeah,
going back, you talked about that sign as you come into Oakwood, the youngest World 100 winner. 2016, you take your World 100, and honest with all the success your dad had, he was never able to capture a World 100. What was it like for you to etch your name in that history book?
It was everything for sure. I think a lot of people go, their whole career is just trying to win that race, and they finally do. It's their biggest win, and for me, it's my biggest win. Might always be my biggest win. Hopefully, we can get more. But that World 100, just the name, the prestige it has, everything to do with it is phenomenal. And my dad, he's been really close for a few different times in his racing career about winning that thing, and when I was able to win it, he kind of felt like he won the race too, because it was just as much him that won the race as me. I'm driving the car, but he sets up the car. He's a crew chief and everything, and it was his car. It was a Pierce car, and I can't imagine how nervous they probably were. Those last few laps, just hoping nothing would happen, because I know I sure was, but.
I was going to say, I was going to ask you
awesome
that.
Night. Hopefully we get more.
Because, you talk about that, and your dad had some times that he was so close. And so what goes through your head in those last few laps, just thinking, I'm sure you hear every rattle, everything that you think could be going wrong with the car. How do you just focus on, I got to just keep hitting my marks?
Yeah, well, I had my dad was signaling me too. And, every time I go down the front stretch, I'd see him with the sticks. And for a while, they were pretty spread apart. And then, with 17 to go, around that time, they were pretty close. And I was like, uh-oh, this isn't good. I don't want to, be able to have the opportunity to win this race and lose it with a few laps to go or anything, or anything stupid happen. But, I just kind of was in that mode where everything was working right. And, as long as nothing happened to the car, for sure, you hear everything and you feel everything. It's like, do I want to keep pushing it like this? Because if you don't, you might miss your marks and start messing up. But you kind of just have to. And talking about Oakwood, it was actually really cool when I got back to town after winning the World 100. They had a little, not a parade, but everyone was on the sides of the road, or a whole lot of people were. And just congratulating us, clapping us as we drove back to the shop from Main Street. And that was pretty cool. We actually had a few cop cars follow us through town, so it was somewhat like a little parade or whatever. And that was pretty neat. A whole bunch of people came to the shop after, and yeah, we celebrated a little bit.
You know, and that is the cool thing about a small town, is that things like that matter so much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, with it being such a small town, there's not a whole lot. I mean, everybody knows each other for the most part. Just everyone knows what's going on with everybody, and to win the World 100, and for them knowing me, or at least, hey, this kid lives in my town and he won this big race. I think that kind of makes them feel good. So that's pretty cool that it all happened like that. Just, I don't know, a lot of people thinking, it helps Oakwood get put on the map per se. And I was glad to be able to do that.
And I want to talk about 2018, and it's not the World 100, but for us here in Jackson County, Indiana, and Brownstown Speedway, it is our crown jewel. And I know it was one that was very important to your dad for a lot of years, and the success he had at Brownstown Speedway. But in 2018, you win the Jackson 100 in probably the greatest pass I've ever seen at Brownstown Speedway, getting underneath Davenport to win it. I know to everybody else that may not mean as much as what it does to me and a lot of people around here. What was that win like?
Oh, that was something else. I had the lead there for just a little bit, like around the halfway mark. Well, first, let's start in the very beginning. I started in the back, and it was a day race. So normally that's not a good combination at all.
Especially at Brownstown, because it dries out and gets nasty.
Exactly. But luckily there was overcast, and they had the track prep just right enough, to have 2 lanes in it. And that bottom had a mud line around there, and I was following that the whole race. Just never got off the bottom, just hugging them Ute tires. And, me and Earl Pearson were coming through the field, and I finally got by him. And then I was in third, and T-Mac and JD were both right there. And we were having a hell of a race for the longest time. And T-Mac finally moved down, I think, to try and block me because I about passed him for the lead. And then that's what let JD pass him. So then I had to catch Davenport after I passed T-Mac, and I passed him for a second, got the lead. He gets me back, and there's like 10 to go, and he's got half a straightaway on me. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, well, we need to hit our marks. I need to hit my marks perfectly these last 5-10 laps to be able to have a shot, because I was slowly catching him. And yeah, there with 2 to go, I just caught him in time to get under him, and we rubbed a little bit. And then going on the backstretch on the last lap, we were side by side, and I knew just, if I hit my marks in 3 and 4, I'd have him, and I did, luckily. And the car was really good that race, and heck, it made for, I think that's one of the best races I've ever. Well, I go back and watch it, and it's one of the best races I've ever seen, and that's really cool. It was a Jackson 100 because it's a huge race.
Well, and I'll agree with you. And there may be some old timers that would tell me, well, you're not old enough to have seen, these Jackson 100s in. But for me, it's the best Jackson 100 I've ever seen, because you're exactly right. The track, for a day race especially, came out perfect. You guys were side by side, racing and passing the whole race.
Yeah, it was something else. Brownstown Speedway really did a great job. Heck, now I think maybe they just need to do more day races. But you had that overcast, so it wasn't like your typical day race where the sun's beating on the track and drying it out. But that's one of those races too. Like the World 100, where I was super glad to win it, and really kind of like a relief to win it at such a young age, because as you get into your career, it could be one of those races for me that I come close to winning and just haven't been able to pull it off. There's a couple of them, like the USA Nationals and the Prairie Dirt Classic. Those races where I've just been right there so many times and just haven't been able to win it. And they're crown jewels. So I want to just maybe in time. And, I've got obviously a lot of years left to do it, but you want to win as many races as you can.
Well, absolutely, and you want to collect those crown jewels. It's for a lot of people, if you can get one, that's awesome. But anybody, like you said earlier with the World 100, you'll take as many of those as you can absolutely win, and not belittling it, saying it's easy to do. But obviously, you want to capture as many as you can and put your name with those of the best that have ever done it.
Yeah, for sure. I won it once, but that doesn't take away any of the amount of that I want to win it again. So and all these other races, the Dream and all of them. So yeah.
Let me ask you that, because that's always an interesting thing for me at Eldora. The Dream obviously pays more, but I think to any late model driver, and probably most late model fans, the World is still the prestige. That's the trophy you want to go home with. Obviously, now I'm sure you'd love to cash that Dream check, though.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit on Dirt. Just what race is more popular. I think fans really attract to the purse, or how much it is to win, and it does drivers too. However, that World 100 is just it's the granddaddy of all of them. No matter it could probably pay $10,000 to win for some reason, and it's the World 100. So, but every year it actually does go up $1,000 more to win. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, that Dream, now it's $125,000. Like, if you had to ask me, I would rather win the Dream now that I have like one World win. But if I didn't have any World wins, I'd be like, well, I need to get that World 100 win. But now, if I had to choose, the Dream, that money sounds pretty good.
Well, absolutely. I mean, everybody wants their name etched in that World 100 history book, but after that, taking that Dream check to the bank feels pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. And now, like, they're getting closer to car counts. I know the World gets like just maybe over 100, and the Dream, I think it's just under 100. It seems like the last couple of times. So, yeah, they're getting pretty close, and no matter which one you win, it's no matter which one you win, you'll take it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to talk, you were 2015 when the NASCAR Craftsman trucks came there for the Dirt Derby. You were involved in that at Eldora as well.
Yeah. That's that's another race I just about won, and I ran that race with Mittler Brothers. Mike ended up passing away last year, and I was probably gonna do a couple more of those races with him until that happened, but. Yeah, heck, we got the pole award for my first time doing it, and then about won it that year too. Got second to Christopher Bell, and the next year I was running second to Kyle Larson, and we were throwing sliders, and I ended up having a flat tire, and then did it a third year, and got spun out, or someone spun out, and I was gonna miss it, and then someone came in and hit me and spun me out, and I got put a lap down, but got back to like 6th. So. We've had good success in that race, and that's really cool too, because there's a lot of NASCAR fans that don't really know much about dirt racing, or they don't know the dirt guys. And for me to run up front and do really good, it's really good for late model racing, because then that kind of puts late models on the map for all these fans that don't really know much about it.
Yeah, that's what I love about it, is when these dirt guys like you and Mike Marlar last year and some of these dirt late model guys get the chance to go run it, because it's like when NASCAR back in the day used to go to the road courses, and a Boris Said could go make the race, and all these road course specialists could. It brings attention to you guys. So yeah. How different is the NASCAR truck from your late model at Eldora?
Oh, night and day difference. Driving that truck around there is like, man, it's got to be something like a street stock mixed with a bus probably. And it's a big tank. It's hard to steer, and then when you don't really realize it, it gets kind of loose on you. And you're not going as fast though, not nearly as fast. So that's the flip side to it. It doesn't handle nearly as good, but you're not going nearly as fast. Whereas a late model, it's more in the ground until the track slicks off, anyways. But like you're a lot more in the ground. You just like when the track's tacky, you can go on there in a late model wide open. If your car's right, and just go right around there, carry your momentum and try and get the best lap you can. But like that truck, it was something else. And they always had the track really slick for the truck races, it seemed like, because they didn't want it to rut up. So there wasn't a whole lot of traction anyways. These trucks have super hard tires, and they're not made for dirt. So, but I think they've been figuring them out more and more, like all the crew chiefs for NASCAR and the engineers, now that I don't know, this is probably like their 6th year they're about to do it or something like that. And they've got those trucks like getting a little better and better every year.
And let's talk here. I mean, obviously, we all know now that the coronavirus, COVID-19, has really put a halt here to racing season. And I know you've been highly involved with the iRacing thing and running a lot of these online races. Does that help you stay sharp? How much had you done it prior to this year?
I have iRacing, but I've only messed around on it a little bit because like my computer's too old and my steering wheel and pedals aren't really, they're not the new stuff that really works the best. And now my computer actually doesn't even start up for some reason. So I'm working on getting an iRacing rig or everything to make one. And I've been at my buddy's place down the road messing with it. And really since the coronavirus thing and they came out with all this iRacing stuff, like I had to get decent at it so I didn't look like a complete fool. And I'm fine by myself, but when I get around cars, it's a little different. But one thing about it, it's nothing like real life, but there's things about it that kind of is like real life. Like throttle control and how the track changes. You really got to make sure your car is in the traction spots and all that. But there's no cushion that forms on that game. I wish there was, because I wanna go rip the lip. Just stick it on the berm, go.
Well, I just got it. We actually got it in studio. We don't have anything fancy, but and drivers, when they come in studio with us, we're going to start having them do a time trial lap and keep track of the best laps. But the first night I had it, I got in a 410 sprint car, and I thought, I just want to see how much power this thing has. And I hammer it, and I'm in the inside wall before I even knew what hit me. So, yeah, throttle control, I've got to learn a lot better.
Yeah, the guys that do it all the time, my hat's off to them. Like, they do a heck of a job. They go around there. Every lap is super consistent, and wherever they want to put the car, and just like, there's a difference of going on the track out there, like on iRacing, and making what looks like a good lap and making a fast lap. Mm-hmm. And I put my dad, my mom, and my sister and her boyfriend, all them on the iRacing rig at my buddy's place, and even my crew guy. And yeah, they couldn't keep it straight. Like, they couldn't go down the straightaway on the fuel and not wreck.
And that's what cracks me up is when people are making fun of, some of these guys that are in this dirt stuff, and Bloomquist is the first one that comes to mind, who never had a rig until 2 days before the World of Outlaws was going to start doing it. And I'm thinking, this guy's got more wins than anybody, one of the most successful late model. Don't make fun of him, man.
Yeah.
You put him on a track with a car any day, he's a challenge. This is something totally new.
Yeah, and you see like JD, I know he just kind of got it, but he's struggling with it a little bit. He's a lot better now in the race we had the other day. Me and him actually gotten into it a little bit. But that's the fun thing about iRacing is, you can go and wreck your car and, hey, it don't matter. It's not going to cost you anything. So, yeah, they have those iRacing races. They're kind of fun to do. It's all about having fun and kind of, I guess, having something for the fans to watch. And for me, I kind of like messing around on there, at least every now and then, because if anything, it keeps my arm movement and all that muscle memory kind of going. You don't want to, when you're sitting out of the seat for so long and you get back in the car, you feel pretty rusty. And I feel like iRacing helps just a little bit, kind of knock a little bit of the rust off even before you get out there in real life.
That's a great point. And, and I listened to Clint Boyer kind of talk about it the other day on his podcast with Barstool Sports, and he said, the biggest thing he has is the wall. Same thing you said about tearing your car, but the wall doesn't hurt either. He said, I'm a heck of a lot more aggressive going in because the wall doesn't hurt me. He said, when I'm racing in NASCAR or in my late model, I'm feathering a little bit more because the wall hurts a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah. You can go out there and try all sorts of different stuff on iRacing, and if it don't work out, you just push the reset button. So, I wish real life was like that for sure.
Be a lot cheaper for you. So, looking ahead to this year, and obviously I know that this is a tough question because we really don't have any idea, but what's the plan? What's the thought going forward for this year?
I really don't know. I know Illinois is like their stay-at-home thing isn't gonna go away until like June 1st. So probably no racing in Illinois for the next month and a half, at least I would guess. Who knows? Could be longer. Maybe we don't get to race at all around here all year. That'd be the worst case scenario probably. But we're kind of prepared to go racing like in the South if we have to. Of course, we don't want to go and race for like nothing to win, but at the same time, everyone's wanting to go race and at least test stuff out. Break in the cars and all that. So people are a lot more, willing to travel a lot farther for less money to win or whatever it is, than we normally would be able to. So, like I said, for us, we're kind of, willing to go race somewhere in Georgia or Southern Tennessee or somewhere on the East Coast, maybe a lot more than what we ever would have. So, just kind of got to do what we got to do. I noticed like a couple of things since this whole coronavirus. The bodies on the cars are a lot more clean heading into May than what they ever been. And, my bank account's not quite as healthy as what it, was at the very start of the year because I haven't been racing to make money and selling T-shirts and all that, to make a little bit of money. So, but, we've had more time to do stuff like just like stuff around my house. Like we put up a fence for my dog and we epoxied the shop floor so it's, it looks better and smooth. And, we're adding like a little wash bay area outside. So stuff like that sometimes would be crunched for time to do, kind of gives us some time to do it the right way. But yeah, and I've been playing a lot more video games and hanging with family and just stuff like that than racing all the time.
There's definitely positives and negatives to it for sure. And what I love is obviously it's changed the way we do a lot of things, but I have never in my life did I think I'd get on your website or a lot of other drivers and the hot item be your COVID-19 custom Bobby Pierce mask. I mean,
right. And I guess I need to get one of those because, like, by the way it sounds is, we all have to have one at a certain time. It's going to be a law. So, yeah, make sure you go to BobbyPierceRacing.com. Go to the store, get you one.
Well, you say that, and my wife came in right before we got started, and I was looking at your website. She said, you might as well just order us a couple of those because we're going to have them. So, yeah, BobbyPierceRacing.com, right there, your custom mask.
Yeah, we got plenty of shirts and all that. Heck, hopefully we're in the works of making new shirts and die casts of this year's car. So hopefully that stuff will be on there shortly too. Yeah, the car turned out really good this year. So.
Hey, and before we finish up here, I do want to give you a chance. You want to shout out your sponsors and everybody that helps you get to the track?
Yeah, for sure. I need to thank Allgaier Incorporated. It's Jeff Allgaier from Texas. I know his businesses with oil and all that. I'm not sure, all this stuff probably isn't helping him out at all. But thanks to him for sponsoring, and Premier Waste Services, Jen and Larry out there in Phoenix, Arizona. Got to thank Viper Motorsports / Risk Management Group, Sean and Lisa Martin. Big thanks to them for coming on board. Hooker Trucking, it's Jeff and Penny Hooker from Dixon, Iowa. They do a lot for the sport. They sponsor a lot of people, so big thanks to them too. And First Beer TV, Extreme Electric, Ted Brown's Quality Paint and Body Shop, Carnegie Towing, Lika Tree Services, Schoenfield Headers, VP Racing Fuels, Schaefer's Oil. See, I got a little list here so I don't forget some people. Carnegie Towing, Digital Copy Systems, Advanced Suspension, Hypercoil Springs, Valco Wheels and Hoosier, Fast Shafts, XS Batteries, No Mud, Hooker Harness, FK Rod Ends, Sweet Manufacturing, Bell Helmets, Velocita Suits, and Arizona Sport Shirts. Big thanks to everybody.
Hey, and don't take it against yourself that you had to have a list, because with drivers, man, if the car's not there, that is a tough thing, is to ask them who all sponsors them.
Yeah. Normally, like I just rattle off like a few of them, but I figured I'd make a list. Normally in Victory Lane, I don't get to like make a list or something. So here we are.
Hey, that's awesome. And hey, I want to ask you this going forward. And obviously I know that your dad, as you got into racing, was one of your heroes. and you look to, but who are some of those other guys when you've been on the track and you're like, oh my gosh, so and so's on the outside of me right now?
Really a lot of them. I mean, anytime you get out there and you're racing with the best of the best, Brandon Shepard and Scott Bloomquist and JD. Those guys are arguably some of the best in the sport. And then, I mean, like Chris Madden, heck, all those guys, I don't know, when you're alongside of them, I guess I don't really think like, I don't get like, I just think like, I'm going to have to drive harder to beat these guys because, they're some of the best of the best. So I have to be on my A game. And, but really, no matter who I'm racing, I always just try and do my best and drive the car as hard as it can be driven per the track condition at the time. So, but yeah, there always is like, when I was 16, I ran fourth at my first World 100, and I was battling for the lead. I actually had the lead, and then I was racing up there with Scott Bloomquist, and at the time I was like, man, I just about beat Scott. He ran third, and that was pretty cool. And like when I passed him at the North-South 100 to win that, that was a pretty big deal. But yeah, heck, I've been racing late models for so long now that, I don't really get that feeling, just I guess the only feeling is, you're going to have to drive harder to beat them.
Well, and you're probably going to disagree with that, but you're quickly becoming one of those guys, even at 23 years old, that other guys are looking at and saying, that's Bobby Pierce.
Yeah, right.
And I
well,
mean,
that's good. That's good to know. Hopefully when they see us pulling on the track, they know we're the one to beat.
Yeah,
that's what we plan to do. Yeah.
So, and another thing I want to ask you real quick is, we talk about tracks. What is the one track that if we had to say you can only race at one place the rest of your life, where would it be?
Well, I mean, Eldora Speedway is one that comes to my mind. I really like Peevely, Missouri. I-55. That track is super fun to race on when it's right. And Tri-City Speedway, it's there next to it. It couldn't be somewhere like Macon or Belleville because even though I like tracks like that every now and then, I couldn't race on them all the time. But yeah, Eldora Speedway, it's probably the top-notch track.
And what's the one that just still gives you fits? What's the track that you just think you want it and you but it's always giving you something?
Fairbury. Yeah. Fairbury is a track where no matter what race it is, it seems like there's always some drama going on. Like, even if it's like nothing I've done, like it finds me. And yeah, I like not last year, 2 years ago, I was about to win a Summer Nationals race there, and I think I broke a fan blade. And then all the Prairie Dirt Classics I've been close to winning. My dad's won 5 of them, and I've been so close to winning them. Just something happens. Yeah, that's a track that always provides a lot of drama for me.
Yeah, and it's got to be something like that, like a fan blade. It's never anything big at that, right. And every driver's got that track, but it's always something like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, something that shouldn't happen. It does. Flat tires are always the worst. Nothing you can do about that.
Well, Bobby, man, I just want to say how much I appreciate you being on, and we're fans of you. Obviously, like I said, we love when you're down here at Brownstown Speedway. I wish I could say that I'm still hopeful that the Icebreaker was going to get ran, or we'd see you at the Jackson here later this year. But I'm hopeful that we'll get to see you here sometime soon at Brownstown Speedway again. But Bud, we are pulling for you. We wish you the best, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And eventually we'll be racing soon. I'm sure. Heck, they are already in South Dakota. We seen the other day. So. Just hopefully I don't have to travel too far to go racing soon.
Well, best of luck, brother, and we appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.